Hello.
How's your day going?
Good, and you?
Doing well. Just adjusting my headset, which is
This call
doing
may
me
be
no favors
recorded for
today.
note-taking and coaching purposes.
All right. Well, I'm excited we managed to get on the call today. I know we got it in this week since we had to reschedule. I'm excited to meet you. I'm Haley. I'm going to be your onboarding specialist. Like I said in I think my last email yesterday, you have 2 more training sessions that we'll talk about scheduling those at the end of our call today, but you'll do all of those meetings with me. And if you have questions while we're going through your onboarding, you can also reach out to me by email, just a point of contact while you're getting started with us here.
All right.
Perfect. So we'll do our kickoff call. You have 2 more training sessions. Like I said, we'll talk about getting those booked, but the deadline for those is the end of this month. So we'll make a game plan to get those calls scheduled throughout this month. Before we jump into the platform or start poking around with any of the stuff that I want to take a look at or any questions that you have, I do like to hear a little bit from you what brought you to Vendasta, and especially if you have any immediate priorities. I know you've been with us for, I think, about 2 months now. Have you had much of a chance to explore the platform yet? Or I know it's the holidays, so.
Uh, yeah, I've been digging into it. I'm just trying to learn it more, and like I said, I've been testing it out and trying to, just feel it out and learn more about the platform.
Awesome. Yeah, for sure. All right. So what was it that kind of brought you to Vendasta in the first place?
Well, I have an online business that I'm trying to grow and scale, so I mean, basically just having a back end into my company to where I could pretty much streamline my services and get
Mm-hmm.
things in front of my audience.
Yeah, absolutely. Were you coming to us? I know I looked at your website a little bit, but were you looking to us to come to offer digital solutions to some of your uh, uh, customers or clients?
Yeah, basically that, yeah. Like some of the marketing. I mean, I'm a certified marketer, but I mean to have some help with, some of the outsourcing.
Managed
But
services and like a larger marketplace, that kind of thing?
yeah, that and basically, like I said, I just want to streamline everything so it's not like hands-on as much. Because, like I
Yeah.
said, it is online and it could go 24/7. So that's basically like if they want it, they could get it whenever, their service whenever they want it.
Yeah, gotcha. Cool. Well, thanks for the rundown. We can jump into the platform. There are some like typical getting started things that I'll maybe touch on that you might not have had a chance to get started with so far. Some of them I've seen that you already have tackled, which is great. Do you want to share your screen and do the navigating, or do you want me to share mine? Whatever's
So
easiest.
just share yours, and then, like I said, I
Sure.
could.
Follow along. And I'll send you the call recording in my follow-up email as well, so you'll have access to that. Okay. So just here in your partner center, um, like I said, I did a little bit of clicking around. I saw that you've connected your Stripe account, so you're ready to process payments for customers through the platform once you get to that point. There was a couple other kind of setup items that I wanted to touch on. First of all, uh, uh, under marketing here, the email settings piece. The reason I like to touch on this early is any emails that you're sending from the platform, obviously it'll look nicer, and it's also more likely to land in an inbox instead of a spam folder if we use your own domain. So right now, it will default to one of our default domains, which is businessmail.io. But if you come in here, add your domain in here, so like lifetimemanagement.com or whatever it is that your website's at, you can connect it so that emails will come from your email domain rather than that default one. So it'll look nicer branding wise for your customers, and it will also, like I said, improve deliverability. So you can come in here, add that domain here, and then you will get the records that need to be added into your domain hosting provider. Do you know what your website domain is hosted with, like GoDaddy or Bluehost or anything like that?
I think it's 2 cows, but I can't remember right offhand. It's
Yeah, no worries. Do you have an existing like email person or sorry, website person who like built your website or that you have a support with?
yes.
Okay, perfect. What I'll do in my follow-up email, I'll send you I have an article that goes over how to set up this piece. So you can always pass the records along to your website person, and they can add the records for you. Or if you have access to your domain, you can sign in and do it. But I'll send you the instructions for that in my follow-up email.
All right.
Perfect. While we're on the topic of domains, we do also have an option where you can customize some of the domains within the platform as well. So one example that I like to use is the business app. So this is the client dashboard. So if you, let's say, activate some products for one of your clients and you want them to have access to those product dashboards themselves, this is the spot where they would log in. Similar to the email settings, we've got a default domain that it's at, smblogin.com. You can set that up so that it uses your lifetime management.com or whatever domain as well. This one is a form that you fill out that goes to our support team, and then they give you the records that you could pass along to your website person to put on the website. So I'll send you that in my follow-up email as well. But just like to touch on it so you know why I'm sending you these things, and the value that can come to it if you do want to customize your domains and set up those email settings. Any questions on that?
No, but you just said that if I add my domain in there, it come from the business email.
Yes, yeah, it would come from like your, I imagine, I looked at your website, but I've already forgotten. It's lifetimemanagement.com or .co, right?
Yeah, .co, yeah.
Yeah, so you can have it come from that, and like whatever your business email is, you can have all of that. And then similar, you could have like a login.lifetimemanagement.co for your customers to log in at instead of this default one, which is a little bit long and messy.
Okay.
Perfect. So I'll send you those two pieces in my follow-up email. The last kind of website-focused one is I did see that you have set up the lead capture, the AI lead capture widget. This might have been something you worked with Justin Babby initially, right? My coworker Justin, when you were coming in.
Yeah.
So he might have talked to you about this or helped you with the setup for your chatbot. But I did see that it's set up here. Does this ring a bell?
A little bit, but yeah, could you brief me on it?
Yeah, for sure. So what it is it's like, when you go to a website, there's a little chat bubble in the corner. You can interface with an AI and get some answers. We have one of those built into the platform that you can add to your website for free. It's designed to capture leads. So someone lands on your website, asks a couple questions, it gets their phone number, their email address, and it adds them as a contact within your CRM. It can also answer questions about your website or additional knowledge that you put into the chatbot. So you can have it, send a booking link or answer questions on your services, things like that. But the main feature of it is to capture that lead that landed on your website and put it in your CRM.
Okay.
And you can make changes to it. I'll just show you where I clicked again. In this little inbox button in the top right-hand corner, and then the settings wheel. And then, like I said, it looks like it's mostly set up. It just hasn't been embedded into your website yet. So you can come in here. You can make any additional changes that you might want to. For example, right now, we don't have a knowledge source in there. So this is where you would come and you would actually put your website link in here. And that gives the AI a chance to scrape your website, understand the content that's on there, and then basically be able to answer questions based off of that website.
Mm-hmm.
You can also put additional text. So like if you have a list of FAQs that you want it to be able to answer, you can put that in here as well. Definitely worth filling out some of those details. And then once it has all the content that you want it to have, this is the code that needs to be added to your website. So just another thing that you can send to your website person, but just make sure you finish the setup with the knowledge sources in particular before you send that over, because otherwise it will try to capture leads, but it won't be able to answer any questions based off of your website until you add it as a knowledge source.
Okay.
Perfect. Surprise, surprise. I'm going to send you a resource about that too. I've got resources about everything. If you have any questions about it, let me know. But that's kind of the next steps to get that set up. And it's just included with you being a Vendasta partner, so you don't have to pay anything extra to have it on your website or anything.
Okay.
Perfect. All right, those are the website pieces. Outside of that, there's a couple other things that we can explore, but before I start jumping into them, did you have any specific questions that you wanted to tackle first, or about what we covered there?
No, you pretty much explained everything to me. I mean, I'm just following along.
Okay, sounds good. What I'm going to do is I'm going to jump over to the administration section down here. Like I said, I saw that you've already connected your Stripe account, so you're ready to collect payments from customers through the platform, so we won't dive into that. But I did want to touch on this My Team section here. Just as a quick highlight, this is where you would come if you ever wanted to add additional team members, like let's say you brought someone on to help with the admin side or a salesperson or something like that. You would come into this section, click Invite Team Member in the right-hand corner here, and then first name, last name, email address, and then you choose the roles that that person has. So you obviously as the main person here, you've got admin, digital agent, and salesperson. You can give your team members just one or a couple of these, and you can actually get pretty granular with it. So let's say you want them to have access to Partner Center. You can tailor what parts of it they have with that show more permissions. So let's say you want them in here to activate accounts or order products, but you don't want them to be able to manage company billing. So you can uncheck different pieces that you don't want them to have access to. Or like I said, maybe they only have access to the CRM and commerce tabs as a salesperson. So you can get, like I said, you can get more specific with which types of roles they need. And this obviously comes into play when you are planning to add someone on your team, or like if you have someone down the line. But I like to showcase it when we're first talking, just so you know where to come. And then while we're on this page, I'm just going to hit cancel here. I'm also going to show you one integral piece, which is clicking this 3 dots next to your admin role and this edit salesperson piece. The reason I want to highlight this is you're essentially going to be the salesperson for your customers in the platform, right? You want to make sure that you're the point of contact when you send an email campaign or when they're logging into business app, they can see your name and your face. In this, like, you'll see you've got this little modal in the bottom left-hand corner. You probably remember at one point it had Justin's face when he was initially working with you. Same sort of thing works for your customers in Business App. When they log in, they'll have a little modal with their assigned salesperson on there. Book a meeting, contact, your picture, and you can add all of those details under this edit salesperson area. So scroll down, it looks, oh, you've even already added a photo, that's great. If you wanted to add a booking link so that when people click on this, so that this book a meeting piece shows, so people can click on that and schedule time with you, any of those details all live under here. Perfect. All right. Now, from here, there's a couple other things that that we can jump into. I want to start with coming in here. I see that we've got 2 active accounts with lifetime management, probably just from playing around. We initially usually activate one for you when you come into the platform, and I see this one has some active products on it. It looks like you've already got a user assigned to the account, which I'm guessing is your lifetime management email address there. So this looks like the account that's actively being used with active products and stuff. If we wanted to remove this as a duplicate, because it doesn't look like anything's going on with this one, it just has the reputation management from the snapshot report you ran. So you can keep it obviously because it's got the snapshot associated with it. But if you wanted to remove the duplicate, you can just click this 3-dot menu and delete here. I won't do it right now because it does have a snapshot report, which I'm guessing you were maybe checking out.
No, I didn't get to see it. I think I just did that recently, like on the weekend.
Yeah, it looks like yeah, the snapshot report is live for 7 days, so it looks like it's only been a day or so since it's been run. So we'll definitely keep it so that you can check out the snapshot report and dive into some of these deeper details here. But once you no longer need it, like once the snapshot report expires or something, you can delete it just to not have the confusion of two. With that in mind, it looks like it's been about a day since the snapshot report was run, so it is fully populated with details. Have you had a chance to look at it yet, or have you explored a snapshot yet?
No, I haven't. Like I said, it's
Yeah, it haven't had a chance yet. Well, let's take a quick look at it. We can always dive deeper into this if you want in the future, but I like to showcase some pieces in here. So when you click on a snapshot report, it pops open this little side panel. You can see the initial grades, and then you've got two options down here. I generally recommend, unless you're like sharing your screen with a client in the moment, you almost always are going to want to go into the edit report area because that's where you can make changes. View full report is basically just the link you would share with a customer. So I'm going to click edit report here and share this new tab that opened, and I can point a couple things out in here. All right. So there's quite a bit that you can do with a snapshot report. We'll just kind of go through it from top to bottom a little bit. At the very top, there's a couple things you can do. Like for example, if you didn't want to show the like letter grades, some people find an A or an F overwhelming and they'd rather just look at the details. You can always change that up. This piece right here, this meetings piece, what's nice about this is if you have added a booking link in that salesperson profile like we were looking at, you can allow a customer to book meetings from the snapshot report. So you send them the snapshot report, they see they have an F in listings, and they're just immediately like wanting to talk to you. You can have that set up straight from here, which would affect this piece down here. So you could put like book a meeting. You could add a custom URL if you have one outside of the platform, whatever you want that to look like. By default, it's get in touch, which will just send something to you as a salesperson within the platform. So that's that piece there. Getting into the competitors piece, this can be helpful if, for example, you're talking to a customer that you know has some immediate competitors, like people that you're aware of, or maybe you know that they've got some you know that that's going to capture their interest and you know who those competitors are. You can add those into the report. If you use the websites option, you just need the business name and the website, and it will pull in information in some of the sections of the snapshot report. You can also, if you want to go a little bit above and beyond, run snapshot reports for those competitors and do a direct comparison, like one-to-one. But obviously that uses more of your free snapshots if you ever go that route, but just know that it's an option. And if you leave it blank, it just won't highlight any particular competitors. So we'll just use the industry average instead. All right, so those, oh, go ahead.
Those grades, the A, C, F or whatever,
Yeah.
like regular, okay. Regular like grades or what are they? Like,
yeah, so we'll get into that.
Okay.
Okay, so those are some of the like high level things you can do with the snapshot report, but here's the real meat and potatoes of it. So first things first, this information under business details is what the report is grading your customer on. One big thing that I want to highlight here is it looks like the business category we have on your business is showing is not found. That happens sometimes where maybe you have a little bit more niche of a category or there wasn't one added at all or something like that. This is definitely something that we would want to adjust. So for real quick, I'm just going to jump back to Partner Center for a second, and I'll show you where you can adjust that. So if we go into lifetime management here, and we'll see business category showing is not found. If we hit edit, and then this primary category here. So again, like I said, sometimes the categories that are found on Google are not one-to-one with the ones that are findable in the platform, or it could be that you had an older one on Google and they've since revamped. This stuff changes all the time. So definitely worth noting. What would you say like this primary category should be? Like maybe not artist, okay.
Sure.
Let's see.
What about management?
Education, event planning, health and medical information, professional services.
Usually have business management consultant.
Because we could definitely do that. I just wanted to look and see if maybe
Okay.
there's something under music. Rental, bar, club, producer, publisher. Yeah, that doesn't seem fit. We can do, let's go back to that management. Business management consultant, does that kind of feel right?
Yeah, and the one under that too is that one.
What was the one under it? Let's look.
You put it
Oops.
down there.
Can help anything. Music management. Okay, does that feel more accurate as like the main one?
Yeah, it's both the same. So I mean, I help with like consulting them and the promotion, but mostly promotion. Yeah, that's what
Yeah, so the reason I ask is maybe let's make this music management and promotion the main one. Because that's what's going to be used for like primary categories. So in the snapshot report on Google, that kind of thing. And we'll add the business management one as a additional category. So you'll still be findable with it, but it will just kind of highlight the main piece being the music management and promotion. If that makes sense to you.
Yeah. Yes.
Perfect. So we'll hit save on this. So because we made a change, the snapshot report will be scraping again for additional information. So it's going to do kind of a rescrape with this. So you might see some changes with the listing score and the SEO score probably primarily are going to be the things where it might shift. I'm not going to refresh this page yet because some of the info that we have already might disappear because it's going to be rescraping. So let's take a look at this with the not found business category, and then tomorrow take another look, see if maybe the SEO score shifted a little bit with a more accurate business category, that kind of thing. So when you're running a snapshot report for a customer, definitely worth double checking that this content at the top of their account before you run it, just so that everything looks right. And then once you do jump back into the snapshot report, that's it, that information will be up here and what will be used throughout the report. So as we go through, we'll start with the listings here. What this is doing is it's basically comparing this information, your business information that we're saying is correct for your business, and it's comparing it to listing sources online. And it looks like you're doing pretty good. You're correct on Google, you're correct on Facebook, correct on X, Twitter, as it used to be called, and on several other different sources as well, correct across 9 additional sources. 31 not found, which is pretty common if you're not doing like a hard listings push, and then 12 with possible errors. And sometimes those errors are pretty like minimal. Like if you look at this one, it looks like the only thing that's missing is that E before 2nd Avenue. So some things that are just a little bit off. And I'm guessing the website on Google is maybe like a specific page on your website instead of the home page. Sometimes that triggers as an error. So pretty minor things. And in general, your listing score is looking very good, especially because what we're comparing you to right now is that not found business category. So this available listing sites and this industry average is going to be a little bit vague because we're not comparing you directly to your own business category. So tomorrow, when you look at this with the new category that we added, this might shift. So if we start comparing you to other music managers and promotions specifically, they might have a higher listing score than what you're seeing. So that's going to shift a little bit. And that's why it's so valuable, because we're comparing you to your competitors. And that's what we're going to do for your customers as well. So if we're looking at a Mexican food restaurant, we're going to compare them to other Mexican food restaurants rather than just all restaurants or, you know, car dealerships. We're looking at their actual competitors. Perfect. And then this grade, like I said, might shift now that we're looking at your more concrete industry. And that's kind of what happens across every single section of the report. When we're looking at reviews here, it looks like in general, you're doing pretty good. Like you have a 5 star review rating, and you have a review source. Again, this might shift, like your actual competitors might have 3 typical review sources or something like that. But you only have 1 review. So that's why that C for reviews found, and then the reviews found per month, you're not getting a lot of new reviews. So that's why those grades are showing the way that they are, because despite having a really good review score and Google as a review source, we're not finding you on other places, and we're not finding a lot of reviews. So that's going to affect your rating in general. And then you're always going to be wanting to have this conversation, especially with your customer when you're using the snapshot report as a prospecting tool, by looking at industry average. So again, this is tying to their business category. That's the industry we're looking at, and saying the average members of their industry are doing this, and then the industry leaders, so the people that are going above and beyond, this is what they can really strive for. So even if they have a C in reviews, like they're doing pretty good, they've got a good start, the A is going to look at what this industry leader section looks like. So we want them to push for something like that. So even if they've got a B or a C or something, there's always room to improve. And even if they have an A, we want to keep them at an A. So it's not like there aren't services that we might want to run for them, even if they already have an A in one of these categories.
Okay.
Perfect. So I won't dive deep into every single section. This is definitely worth exploring some on your own. A lot of similar things that you're going to see is like how your business is doing. And again, it looks like you're doing okay on social, but there's definitely room to improve. We don't have a lot of content going out on the Facebook page, the X, or the Instagram accounts. So that's why it's giving some Fs, is like there's room to push more content. And that's the big thing that they're going to be grading on in the social section, obviously. Your website looks great, doing a really good job on the website. It looks like mobile performance, desktop performance, it's fast, it's responsive, it has all the information that that we want to be on a website. So honestly, it's looking great. Yeah, across all categories, it looks like it's doing really, really great. The website section is definitely something that you might see variants for your customers. And what's cool about this view full mobile report and view full desktop report, you can always pass that information on to a customer. Let's say they have like a D on their website grade. They're not interested in getting a new website with you. Maybe they've already got someone who manages their website and they're just not interested in that cost right now. You can always give them these reports and say, that's fine, you know what, let's focus on some other areas, but pass this along to your website manager. There's some things they might want to consider fixing.
Okay.
Yeah. Now, I'll skim over e-commerce. A lot of these are basically just yes, no's, like do you have an online store? Do you have your products? Whatever, which isn't always going to be relevant for every single business. So this is an area where you might turn off this section for a customer if you know it's not relevant. So you'll see this little checkbox in the top right there. This is to turn off a full section, so it would hide the entire e-commerce section. You can also turn off any of these blue check marks throughout the report. Like let's go back to social for a second. Let's say you have a customer that just doesn't care about X and is never going to want to care about X. You can just uncheck all of the X sections throughout the report so that they don't have to worry about it, something like that. So any of these blue check marks can basically hide that section for your customer. And if you were to say turn off this e-commerce section, it grays it out, tosses it to the bottom of the report, and you can always decide, scroll back down, turn it back on if you want to use it again in the future. And then you can just reorder with the left-hand menu here. Any questions on those pieces so far?
Well, I'm just looking over here like at the advertising or whatever. I mean, is that part of this, or?
Yeah, so I'll touch on this really quickly. Our advertising section is pretty limited in some ways. It's only going to show Google ads that were run recently enough and with a high enough budget. So it's very particular. It can only report on Google ads, and it's only going to show in here if it was a Google ads campaign that had a high enough budget and within the last, I believe it's the last 30 days. So if you run ads in the past, or if you've done ads on other platforms, it might not show up here. Same for your customers. So honestly, more than anything else, it's just a conversation starter of like, it looks like we're not currently running particularly big campaigns on Google. Is there somewhere else that you're using digital advertising? Have you allotted budget for this before? What has that looked like? It's basically just to like, are you interested in advertising? Let's dive into that. I know a lot of partners turn off this section because, like I said, it's limited in what it can report on. So it's not always the best conversation starter. You might have a conversation about ads completely removed from the snapshot report. But that's kind of what that looks like. And then just a quick highlight of the SEO section. It looks like we might already be showing some of the details from the refreshed business category. So this again might shift now that we're looking at the new business category that we gave it. But when we were just looking at, let's see, music management and promotion plus near me, that's the default that it's looking for in this local SEO search results. Here first across the board. Probably makes sense because there's probably not a lot of like, it's a little bit more niche of a business category, right? It's not like a coffee shop where you're going to have 20 within a 10 block radius in every city. So it does look like it's looking pretty good as far as local search looks. But this is going to shift. So do another scan of it tomorrow after the report has had a chance to fully refresh. And what I'm going to send you in the interim is I have some really great resources that dive deep into how we get the reports, how we get the grades that we have within the snapshot report, how you can speak to those different sections, and really give you kind of the tools in your tool belts to use this as a prospecting tool with your customers. So I'm going to send you some resources on that in my follow-up.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So pretty high level overview of the snapshot report there. One of the biggest things that I suggest, and what's nice is you've got a live report for your own business right now. Come in here, play around with it, check out the resources that I'm going to send you in my follow-up email so you have a bit of an idea of how to speak to some of these sections, and then start to think of how you would speak to this if you were talking to this person as a customer, which, like I said, I'll send you some of that stuff in my follow-up email. Now, the other thing that I wanted to highlight, and I'm going to jump back into Partner Center here, is with your subscription, you get 25 free snapshot reports every single month. So those reset on the first of the month. So you have 24 left to use this month. What I would recommend is you start bringing in even some like test accounts that you're not really going to be going after. Come in here, start running snapshot reports. If you have a list of potential prospects or even existing customers and you just want to come in and run a snapshot report them to see how they're doing, so you can start to look of like maybe some of your existing customers you want to start recommending some digital solutions to improve their listings or their website or what have you. This would be a really good opportunity this month to use those 24 free snapshot reports that you have to start playing around with that kind of stuff.
All right.
And with that in mind, I did want to show you the different ways that you can create accounts in the system so that you can start to do things like that. So first of all, big blue create account button in the top right-hand corner. This is what you would use if you're bringing in an individual account. You'll see it's powered by Google. So what it's looking for is, does this business have a Google business profile? Sometimes when you look someone up, they might not come up in this list, and it either is they don't have a Google business listing, they are on Google, but maybe their business name is wrong, so you're looking for the wrong thing. Sometimes the information is just off, or they're a service area business. So an example I like to use for that is like a plumber who has a truck and all of their tools, but doesn't actually have a physical location. Our system can't find service area businesses on Google, so you'd have to enter that one manually, but you would just click go to create account and enter all of the details there.
Unknown caller.
All right.
So that's for adding an individual one. If it can be found on Google, it's going to pull in all of the information that it can find. Like, for example, I'm just going to look up a Starbucks because that's easy. I won't actually add this to your system, but what I wanted to show is when you hit this continue button, it pulls in all of that information, but always make sure that you double check this stuff. In particular, let's make sure that like address you might not know off the top of your head, but as long as it feels right. But you do want to make sure, did I scroll past it? Oh, I did. The primary category. So food, coffee shop, that makes a lot of sense for Starbucks. They've got a bunch of additional categories, but this is where you would check that piece before you bring it into your system and not have to edit it before you run a snapshot report. And then you just create a count at the bottom there. Now, if you wanted to bring in multiple accounts, we've got two different workflows. If you have an existing list, like if you've got a CSV of your existing customers or an existing spreadsheet or something like that, you can import those accounts. We've got, if we click the three-dot menu here, import accounts. It's a CSV upload. So basically you need a spreadsheet and then download it as a CSV. You can bring it into our system. We have a template that you can use, which helps just like match the categories and the framing so that it pulls in nicely when you go to map fields. So if you have an existing list, I definitely check out the template. Put in all of your customers' information, and then you can import it using this. The required fields are company name and zip. So we need that to hone in from a Google search like we were doing previously. But obviously, the more information you have about them, the better, because we'll pull in whatever we can. Or if you don't have an existing list and you just want to kind of see what is possible, we have this find accounts option as well. And this is really cool. Is there a specific like business category you want me to look up, or sometimes I just use coffee shops as an example?
That's fine. I mean,
let's do coffee shops near me, and this is going to use my physical location because it knows that I'm in Saskatoon, Saskatchewan. If you were to do this, obviously it would recognize where you are. But what's cool about it is you'll see, so this is downtown Saskatoon. Our office is right in here where I'm located right now. And this is the 20 coffee shops that it could find in our immediate area. And as you scroll through, you can see it gives a little bit of a snapshot of how they're doing. So Sparrow Coffee, 4.5 review rating. They've got 341 reviews. Their Google business profile is claimed, and they've got a website. Pretty cool. If we look down at this Peak, which is actually one of my favorite coffee shops, it's right next to our building and I go there all the time, they actually don't have a website. So this is someone that maybe if you were looking to sell websites, you'd be able to say, okay, they have a claimed Google business, they've got some pretty good reviews, but they clearly don't have a website. There might be other gaps that they have. Either you want to sell them a website, or maybe there's other areas that you want to focus on for them. You could bring them into your system, run a full snapshot report, see how they're doing, and start that conversation. So it's just a way to kind of like hone in on specific businesses. Any that you check off in this left-hand side, so let's say you chose a couple, you could create as accounts and it would just pull them in with their information from Google. So this is a really great way to play around with that as an option as you're starting to explore different verticals or different business categories or different business types that you want to look at. You can come in here, find accounts, find 20 of them, add them to your system, run snapshot reports. You've got 24 left this month, and it kind of gives you a jumping off point to try to see how these businesses are doing and how you might want to speak to them.
Okay.
Perfect. All right, we've got just 5 minutes left on the clock, so I did just want to talk about next steps real quick. I'm going to send you my follow-up email, call recording, resources, and then I'm going to put my booking link in there as well. I did want to talk about that real quick just because we had a little bit of a delay doing our first call, obviously with the holidays and stuff, so I want to make sure we have time to get your last 2 training sessions in this month. I've got lots of time next week. And we have until the end of the month, the 31st of January, essentially. So we could do another one next week or the week after, and then in the last week of January, and we'd be able to get your 2 more training sessions in. Would you like to either, we could, I could send you my booking link in the chat here right now if you want to book it right away, or in my follow-up email if you want to take a look at some of the resources that I'm sending you before you plan a time. for that next training session.
Okay. Yeah, well, just like Tuesday, we could do it now, all right?
Here, let me toss it. It's nice when you fill in the details because then it shows up in my calendar, right? So let me just grab this link. And if you click into the chat, you should have that there. And I do think Tuesday is a weirdly busy day next week, but I do think I have one time slot available that you'll be able to grab.
Where is chat?
In the on the Google Meet tab in the bottom right, there's a little chat with everyone speech bubble.
All right, I see it.
Yeah, I think I've got one time slot on Tuesday next week, but I've basically got time every day next week that we can look at.
Okay. It might have to be another Thursday.
Got a lot more availability on Thursday next week.
Okay, well, I could just go through the
Oh yeah, now you've got it in front of you at the very least. I'm going to send you my follow-up email. We'll get, you'll go ahead and book our next meeting for next week, and we'll talk about the last one when we talk, or like feel free to book both of them. You've got my booking link. Go wild. But I'm also going to send you some resources about what we talked about today. I'd love to know what you want to dive into next. So if there's a specific topic, like if you want to dive deeper into email campaigns, which we didn't really cover, or billing your customers, anything like that, let me know, or we can use it as a Q&A. Like if you do some exploring over the next week before we meet again, we can use it to answer questions that you found in that time.
Yeah, there's something I really want to discuss. I'm
Yeah.
trying to set up my links, like in my store, but I'm having a problem with them like linking up because, well, I put them through I had another CRM, but I would put the links for like a payment in there, but it kept like resetting. I don't know why it would go back to, it just had like one, but I had several different like links
It
for
just didn't seem to be working.
it
Yeah.
wasn't, so yeah.
Yeah, we can definitely dive deeper into that and whatever else you want to cover in our next call.
Okay.
Perfect. All right. Well, I'll give you a little bit of time back today, and I will send you my follow-up email here before the end of the day, and we'll talk again next week.
All right. Appreciate
Awesome.
your time.
Enjoy the rest of your day.
All right. Thank you.